Okay, let's talk through these briefly. And in the last video, I said the solution's pretty easy. Well, that's kind of true, kind of false. The solution is easy if we just go willy-nilly and we disable IPv6. This completely prevents this attack, right? If IPv6 isn't enabled in the network, then guess what? We can't be an IPv6 DNS server because there's nothing for us to do. So disabling IPv6 can have unwanted side effects. So the recommended thing to do is actually to prevent some of these. So we just define block rules instead of allow rules when we have our firewall. So I've listed those here. You don't have to worry too much about them. This could be something to just copy a picture of and have for your notes, especially if you're studying up. I don't think you'll ever be asked this in an interview, but if you're ever pulling off this sort of attack, it might be good to know for a client purpose. Another thing to note is that if we're not using WPAD, then we should disable it with group policy. And this tells you just how to do that. And then the relaying. So we did relaying to LDAP and LDAP-S. We only can mitigate this by enabling LDAP signing and channel binding. So that's another mitigation strategy here. So we could have prevented the LDAP attack that you saw, but typically LDAP signing and channel binding are not enabled by most clients. I can't remember a time that I have seen it. So last thing to consider is that we can put users into the protected users group, and that would prevent impersonation or delegation, which we didn't actually cover a delegation attack, but I did show you that blog posting where it had the delegate access. If we're able to do delegate access against a machine, then we can, just abuse that feature even more. And so to fully disable this, there's a few different things that we have to do. We can cut the head off by disabling IPv6, but best practice says, hey, we should actually just do some block rules in the firewall. We should disable a WPAD. We should disable or enable LDAP signing and channel binding. And we should consider moving our admin users to the protected users group. So with this being said, again, don't worry too much about this. I just like to cover the mitigation strategies to talk about it. If you want to practice this in your lab, if you want to go back as we're going through some of these and you want to turn off different things that I'm showing you in defenses and try to mitigate these, I say more power to you. See how this works and how it affects certain attacks. And I think that's a really awesome strategy as well. But otherwise, just take maybe a screenshot of this and don't focus too much on memorizing it. So from here, we got one more video left. We're going to tie everything together, and then we're going to get into post-exploitation enumeration. So I'll catch you in the next video.